All right, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the Hounds Tales podcast, we are sitting down with Mr. Kenny Dean. If you have been in the field trial or fox hunting community for any amount of time and been on Facebook, I'm pretty sure you've probably seen this name come across the board once or twice. He is one of the founding members of the Instahounds new program. And we'll get into exactly what all that is and what all that entails here in a little bit in the episode. But we talk some of his previous experiences and judging and have some good stories behind all that and get some of his advice on some things going on in the world, in the fox hunting world. So y'all sit back, relax, enjoy this episode. All right, here we go. Drop the gate. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds Tales podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. Tonight, I am joined by Mr. Kenny Dean. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Pretty good. How about you?
We hanging in there, man. Just trying to beat this cold weather. I don't know what y'all got down in y'all's area, but I'm about sick of this cold weather.
It was cool today. It's been in the 70s last 3-4 days. I'm ready for some cool weather.
Yeah,
getting hot. 75 is great in July, but it ain't great in January.
That's right. That's right. So, Kenny, why don't you go ahead and just kind of tell us who you are, and how long you've been, a houndsman and doing this kind of thing, man.
Okay. Well, I live in Mill Creek, North Carolina, which is not far from Newport and Morehead City. It's about 5 miles from the ocean. So down here at the end of the earth.
Right.
I didn't start out dog hunting like most people. My dad didn't dog hunt. They're from West Virginia.
Okay.
And moved down here through the military. My neighbor had deer dogs, had Beagle Walker Cross deer dogs.
Got you. Some old
and how I fell into it. Yeah, how I fell into it, I have no idea. Because like I said, my dad, nobody in my family deer hunted, and especially didn't have a dog.
Right.
And I just, hung out over there and went with them a time or two, and you just love it. I mean, I love it to death. There ain't nothing better to me.
I gotcha. So who was that got you into it? What were those guys' names?
His name was Edward Corbett. Like I said, I lived there till we're about 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought, I think, 8 or 9 when I was 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
He put me on a payment plan.
Now.
And I got them, and I kept them, so they pretty much all passed away. And then when I started at Cherry Point in, I think, 93.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of people that fox hunted there.
Right.
And I just kind of, I don't know how I got on, to be honest with you, as far as field trial and fox hunting and running the pen, just kind of fell into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that always, that makes for the best times anyway, at least.
Oh, yeah, and there was, every day at work, there was 8 or 10 different people. Walter Meadows was probably the main one to get me into, running the pen.
Right.
And I run with him and William Small and Robert Stone.
Right.
For I don't know how many years, every Saturday night.
Okay.
And just, went on from there. Just a lot broker than I would have been otherwise.
That's right. That's one of the worst things going back and looking. I swear to myself all the time, I got to quit looking at that and how much I spend in this daggone sport, and it really makes you cry sometimes.
Well, you're going to spend it on something. Why not spend it on something you really enjoy? And it's not, to me, it's not a hobby. And most of these people, it's not a hobby. It's kind of a lifestyle. Right. It is a lifestyle.
Right. It almost has to be now. It's not like it was back in the day when it could be a hobby. Now it's, like you said, it's so much dedication behind it. It has to be a lifestyle.
It's your life. I mean, it's, if you're going to compete in a field trial, and, it's hard enough to compete. There's more competition now than there ever has been as far as quality of dogs.
Right.
And, just everything involved, nutrition, everything. It's just, it's a totally different ballgame than it was 10 years ago.
Yep. I always hear, I love listening to some of the old timers talk, about, I say old timers, some of the guys that have been around in the sport for a long time, and kind of listening to them talk about how the difference of, like you just said, how it used to be on what the dogs were doing, how they were trained, the preparations, and compared to what it is now, it's such a big swing.
Well, everybody, at least around here, I'm speaking, everybody used to deer hunt, and then they would go run the pen, just for something to do. Didn't, there wasn't a whole lot of field trials. And now, I'd say half the people that run a pen a lot don't deer hunt.
Right.
So them dogs never see the outside, and it's, we're running mostly coyotes down here. There's some flock, but mostly coyotes.
Right.
And it's a teetotal different game, a different mindset, everything.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. I mean, you can tell that you bring some of those dogs up here that are stuck on coyotes and try to put them in these fox pens up here in Virginia. And sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, but sometimes them coyote dogs are just lost as a goose in here.
Oh, mine wouldn't. You'd have to show mine a picture of a fox. They wouldn't know how. I run one last week for about an hour and a half on and off, and that poor fox made my dogs just sort of like,
right.
Not even worth feeding. I mean, they don't know what a fox is. It ain't their fault.
That's right. Just like you said, though, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different ball game.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
It is. I don't know if it's for the better or worse. I think it's for the better of a more enjoyable field trial. And as far as a better dog, no, I don't think it's better.
Right.
But it's you kind of meet in the middle. We don't go to, Friday night, Saturday night, whenever you run, we don't go to listen to them hunt.
Right.
We go to listen to them run.
Yeah, that's right.
And, that's what, every field trial is not perfect. I've been to good ones, great ones, horrible ones.
Right.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what you got to understand.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, you're 100% correct. I mean, I haven't been in it but for a few years now, and I've been to some really bad ones, and I've been to some really great ones in the running, and that all across the board. And you never know what you're going to get, so it's always good to prep for whatever you never know.
I've been to a bunch of masters hunts that, well, I won't say a bunch, several that. Mm-hmm. I wish was a national hunt.
Right.
And then I've been to some national hunts and said, boy, this would be a really good master hunt.
Right. Right.
But you don't, I've been to very few field trials where it was perfect every day.
Yeah.
So, better all around dog most of the time does. He shows up.
That's right. So that's really kind of what you mainly focus on is the 3-day world, correct? Or multi-day world.
Yeah.
Correct?
I'll go to a couple 1 days just to go,
Right.
And I don't go to many 3 days. I can afford to go to about 3, maybe 3 or 4 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I don't run, I don't mind judging. I enjoy it.
Right. And I know
but I'm trying to get back to running my dogs while I'm still able. There for 5 or 6 years, I went haywire judging, and hey, I loved it, enjoyed it, and met a ton of great people all over. There ain't many places I can't go and don't know a majority of the people.
Right.
And like you and John were talking about last week, it's a whole different ball game in a field trial. I don't, you go run 30, 40 dogs and look at them, but when you got 130 or 230, it's a whole different ball game.
It is. And, I was going to ask you that, ever since I've been in, like you said, the past 4 or 5 years, you've been mostly judging, correct?
Yeah. I slowed down this past year, which I had heart surgery, so I had to.
Right.
But, I pretty much, I love, if I ain't running, I always thought of it as giving back.
Right.
I would, because I was just as big a turd as there's ever been when I'd go to a hunt and you see a bunch of old guys. You're like, oh my Lord, they ain't, these guys, don't know what, I won't say they don't know what they're doing, but they're old,
Right.
And I've spent the last 7 years, I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
was most of those old guys. And they're just as good, if not better, than the young guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They might not can sprint, but they can hear and they know what they're looking at, and they know what to do. You know what I mean? You can't beat experience.
Right.
I don't care what you do, you can't beat it.
And most of those guys have been to probably almost all those pens more than once. So they kind of have an understanding of where the crossings are at in all these pens that they're going to. Like,
that's right.
I know one of my favorite people to watch judge is Mr. Clyde Sutton. I love watching him. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of movement he's doing, but dadgummit, I swear he gets just as many crossings as the next person. He just knows how to place himself.
I've kind of been under his wing, per se. Clyde's a straightforward, honest man, and does what he thinks is best.
Yep.
And that's all you can ask for. And like I said, working on him when he masters the hunt, simple. He expects you to do your job, and if you have any problems, he'll handle them.
Right.
And that's all you can ask for.
Yep. Ain't much better than that. So, we'll kind of touch on this real quick. I seen that you had shared or posted in the Masters page the Piedmont FHA that's coming up here soon. What can you tell us about all that?
That'll be April the 4th through the 6th, which is a Thursday through Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's a Masters HGA at Triple B. They're in Wallace. And I think $100 entry fee, $20 membership. 1 day option, the usual stuff.
Right.
And
now,
other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, and it's something I picked up on, and why I really wanted to kind of bring that up in this is you're the first hunt that I've seen in a long time run the Masters HGA. What made y'all choose the Masters HGA instead of running the GTP like everything else?
Well, the Piedmont, I just got on the board several years ago, but it's been around a long time.
Right.
And it's always been run under National HGA.
Okay.
And, that's fine, but it's, most of the time at Triple B, finding a hunting score is hard to, if you get 2 or 3 in 3 days, you're lucky.
Right.
So the feasible thing was to go to Masters, but, GTP. Mm-hmm. But we want kind of appeasing a couple, board members. Not, I've been doing this a long time. The National, and the ones that are still on there that support the National, which we all do.
Right.
But we want to kind of ease it in and still have a HGA.
Right.
And we'll see how it goes this year. Whatever the board decides. But
no, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's so neat to finally see somebody actually use the Masters HGA system. I really do not think I can think back on a hunt since I've gotten started in this that somebody has actually used the Masters HGA system. Everybody's just uses the GTP.
Yeah, I've seen a handful. I think maybe down there in Alabama or somewhere down there, I've seen a couple.
Gotcha.
And that's the problem with the field trial. You don't know what you're getting.
Right.
I've been to pens that have run there for months. That's where I usually run and go to the field trial. And the field trial just wasn't very good if it was scent conditions or, dry or, well, you said, boy, this would be a great HGA hunt. But that's just the big problem.
Yep.
That's just the big problem. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yep. If we could all predict what the hunt was going to be like, it'd be it'd probably be some different names on top of them champion list.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That's the good part of it,
That's right.
It's all fluid.
Yep. The cream will rise to the top when the seasons change. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's the third day. That's why I like 3. It's something different.
Yep.
But it takes work.
Right.
And like you said, if you stay close, you ain't going to be leading. You stay close that third day, you'll see 2 or 3 dominant dogs.
Yeah.
Every hunt I've ever been to. And they might not win, but they'll make the winner weak a little bit.
That's right. Yep. That third, I'm with you 100%. It's when you got a dog that can pull up on that third day or either hold tight and hold the lead, that's, man, something about that gets me going, man. I love watching that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's most third days. They're, as far as judging, they're kind of boring
Right.
because you used to 150, 200 dogs, and next thing you know, you got 50.
Right.
But you
Right.
definitely see the ones that should be there. You know what I mean? They,
Right.
like you say, they rise to the top.
And I wonder if that's going to, and that's something that I didn't even think about that till you just said it with that HGA system that y'all are going to be running. That third day, you may have some hunting scores come into play that could completely change the name of the hunt.
Yeah, it will. But the endurance still with the Masters is a big, I love that, 10, 20, 30, and
Right.
30% the last day. That's a lot of points.
That is a lot of points. That's a
So
lot of points.
even with the 100 HGA points hunting, it's, you might get 10th HGA, maybe.
Right. Right.
It just all depends.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the results. I know that much.
Yeah, it's just, I don't mind a dog, getting hunting. If he's hunting, give him hunting.
That's right.
But I just hate to see a dog that scores, say 500 points and he gets 20 to hunt.
Right.
Gets knocked out of HGA, one that scored 1,400 points.
Right.
To me, it's not apples to apples.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's why most people run that GTP system. But like you said, the way the Masters HGA is set up, it benefits that endurance side so much. I think y'all making a good call on that, and it's going to be, it's going to play out really nice. I really think that's going to be. I'm just curious to see it, just because I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be 20 hunting scores, there'll be none. Who knows?
That's right.
But we're going to give it a try, and if it works good, we'll keep on. If not, we'll do what we need to do.
There you go. Well, Kenny, the one of the biggest reasons I asked you to come on here is something that y'all, I don't know if I guess you're on the board or maybe the president, I'm not 100% sure. It's a new system that y'all have come up with. It's called Instahounds. So
Right.
fill us in. What is this? What exactly is going on for people that haven't seen it and have no idea? Start from the basics, man. What is this, and what exactly y'all have going on here?
Well, Michael Langley and Chris Howard, I believe there might be one more, but they are the brainchilds behind Instahounds.
Mm-hmm.
I got voluntold to be on the president, and I'm the president of the leaderboard.
Gotcha.
So it's separate from the Instahounds.
Okay.
But and if I say something wrong, Michael will fix me because I ain't 100. I ain't been studying this. He's been working on this for years.
Right.
It's more or less a database.
Okay.
He does not want to take the chase. He does not want to take the horns position. Matter of fact, you need them because when you buy a membership per dog,
mm-hmm.
you send in the information. That's you send the information in for your dog.
Right.
And Michael or whomever will, fill out the pedigree blank.
Mm-hmm.
But we need the horn. We need the chase. I want to be successful. That's not even in their mind to make a registry.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay.
The horn, they do, you know what I mean? That's how they make majority of their money, through registrations.
Right.
And that's the last thing they want to do is take, that part of their business.
Right.
No interest in that whatsoever.
Gotcha. So
it's just something, the master, you got the 1 day for the Masters 1 day.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got the leaderboard for the 3 day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing currently for the puppies.
Okay.
And there's people around here. I mean, this is puppy capital of the world.
Gotcha.
I guess.
Gotcha. So,
they love it.
So real quick before we go down that hole real quick. So Instahounds, I mean, I'm just verifying this, just to make sure I'm understanding 100%. Instahounds itself is just a database system. It's something that's online where you can look up any pedigree that y'all have in y'all's archives.
Exactly. What's the number one question? For say you go to a hunt and you see a dog you like.
Right.
And you're like, dang, wonder where that dog's off of.
Uh-huh.
Well, now every puppy, when he's got to be litter enrolled to get, in the membership.
Mm-hmm.
And that data is put in the computer system.
Okay.
And you go on Instahounds website,
Mhm.
and you type in, if it's my dog, type in my name. It'll show every dog I got.
Gotcha.
So that question. I mean, you hear it. That's the most question you see on Facebook.
So,
How's that dog bred? How's
so,
that dog bred?
so that dog is not going to be on there unless you. So if I had a puppy, that dog is not going to be on there until I register that dog through y'all and get him on there. Correct?
Yeah, it's a membership. I think it's $15 a dog,
Okay.
and 10 for litter mates if they are owned by the same owner.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not making nothing up unless It's kind of like you scratch. I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Right.
We're gonna
Right.
hold the humps and give back, and they're trying to build a database.
Yeah.
For we've all heard it. I wish I could. You go on Facebook and search up a dog, but it can be aggravating.
Right. Sometimes it's tricky.
Go
Yeah.
back to stuff 5 years ago.
Right.
This way, you go, you see, I placed a dog.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what it's bred like? You ain't got to wait till 18 hunts later when somebody finally tells you what it's off of.
Right.
It's there.
Right.
It's there, and for everybody to look at. And that's
Okay.
what we all want. How many hours you spent looking at the back of the chase or the horn?
Right.
Just looking.
Or just driving through Facebook trying to see if you can find some dig up information on some of these dogs and stuff like that. Yeah. No, I mean, I love it. I think the idea is fantastic.
It's like I said, more or less a searchable database, and like I said, Terry Walker. I'm good friends with Terry, and this is in no means trying to take anything from the horn or the chase.
Right.
That's why we, they wanted to make sure they were registered through one of them
Gotcha.
before we even, had anything to do with it.
Right. And that'll be kind of neat too, especially if, I don't know how let me ask you that. I mean, that's a good question. How are y'all getting that information? Is that something that the owner of the pup has to provide the pedigree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I guess they'll, if they want to register it, what is the registration process to get your dog on there? Obviously you got to pay your membership and pay for the dog, but if I wanted to register my puppy, what is involved in me getting him on there?
I ain't 100% sure, to be honest.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I'm pretty sure you get it with Michael.
Okay.
And he, you have to have a kennel membership.
Right.
Which don't quote me on price, but I don't know, 25, right. And nothing's expensive.
Yeah.
But and you get all your information, and then I'm not sure. I know he needs a litter enrollment, and I'm sure he would prefer the whole pedigree, just a picture.
Right.
Just send them, text them a picture.
Text or email or something like that. I got you.
Yeah, it's all hand typed, nothing scanned in or whatever.
Right.
Michael's kind of a computer guru, so.
Yeah, I went on the website earlier, and it's Instahounds.com, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I went on there earlier, and I was kind of exploring it and just kind of trying to figure it out and learning and that kind of thing. And I like the way it's set up. It's set up really nice. It's easy to follow. And when you look at the pedigrees, it's a really clean look. And, and I was actually going to ask you if it was kind of its own entity, but now that you're talking about, you clarified that you're not trying to get away from the horn or nothing like that, because
No, I want it to be. I hope when I get in the rest home one day, I'll still get the horn 2 days before the end of the month.
Right, right.
You can count on it.
Yeah. At least that one, right?
No doubt. Like I said, I'm good friends with Terry.
Right.
And I wouldn't do nothing. Any of us would do nothing because they've done so much for us as far as the Foxhound field trial world.
Right. Well, that's that was a big question that I had, so I'm glad that's I love that. I really like that. It's a working with kind of thing.
You can't. Yeah, you're not biting. You can't bite the hand that feeds you in anything.
Right. That's right.
They say something's positive to come out of it.
Gotcha. So, you were kind of rolling into it earlier, so let's kind of talk about that. It's what y'all are calling the pick of the litter. Is that right? Okay, so explain that.
Correct. Okay, for say I'm a pen owner. Okay. I pay $25 for a membership for each particular hunt. It has to be advertised on the Instahounds Facebook page, or one of the board members can screenshot it on their page or whatever, at least 14 days prior to the hunt. And it has to be posted, the results, within 7 days after the hunt.
Gotcha.
And as far as the man with the dog, he's got to get up with Michael. He has to get a kennel membership and a membership for each dog. It's $15, I believe, a dog. Then $10 for every dog that's a litter mate that you own. You know what I mean? Just whoever that one person is.
Right.
And that's good for all year. You don't have to pay no more every time you go to a hunt. There ain't no extra $15, $20, $30.
Right.
You pay it one time, and you're good as long as that dog can, compete.
Right.
So, it's $25 a hunt for the pen owner.
Yeah.
And the most is 15 and a kennel registration for a dog owner. So, it's most puppy hunts are what, $35, $40. So that's what instead of going there and say, well, it cost me $100 something and another something for this.
Right.
You're done with it.
Gotcha.
You got to keep up with it. And when the pen owner posts the points or posts the results, per se, there was 2 dogs that were first and second that weren't in Instahounds.
Right.
The third place dog, he's still getting third place points.
Gotcha.
We're not going to make the pen owner, go there and spend an extra 30 minutes figuring out who was in, who wasn't. We'll deal with that.
Okay. So it's a point system for dogs in that puppy hunt that are registered through Instahounds.
Yep. There'll be, like I said, we only give out the first 10 places for points. And, if you're third, you get third place points. If you're 10th, you get 10th place. It don't matter, who was or wasn't in Instahounds ahead of you.
Gotcha.
At the end of the year, we're going to take the top 100 and ties and have a 5-hour hunt. What pen? We have no idea. But, I mean, if we get, hopefully all over, it might take a year or two, but all over the country, we can move the hunts just like the Masters or something, move somewhere here or somewhere there.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody going to be making $10,000, but it's something for some recognition.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what 98% of it do it. Meaning, just want to brag a little bit.
That's right. That's right. So as far as responsibility of the pen owners after the hunt is over, is that results need to be sent to Instahound? Like, I guess one of the leaders or on their Facebook page or post it? How does that work? You
could do that or just post it just like everybody does on Master Fox.
Gotcha.
Just post the results with, pen name, how many hours, how many dogs.
Right. I got
Simple as that.
Gotcha.
We tried to make it where it just wasn't a job every time you went to a field trial.
Gotcha.
So you go to a field trial, you don't have to do nothing.
Right.
You put your registration number or membership number, beside the dog. Other than that, that's all you got to do.
Right.
I mean, it don't get much easier.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. So right now it's just pups, and you kind of touched on it earlier that there's a little bit of something for everything else. Are y'all thinking about maybe in the future after you get your feet wet and kind of get the rhythm down and that kind of stuff, maybe expanding to like derby hunt age and stuff like that? Or am I thinking too far ahead?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to see where it goes. I can't speak for the other ones.
Right.
So I don't know. For me, like I said, I'm just kind of helping the crowd get stuff organized per se.
Right.
Maybe have, somebody's got a problem. I don't mind talking to people.
Yeah.
And we can, we'll figure it out. We'll straighten it out.
I got you.
But, I'm just trying to help them. I'm people know me, I've been to about 3 puppy hunts in my life. And it's just not my thing. Most of mine don't get started till they've done one. Somebody else has done 5 hunts.
Right.
And mine just getting started. But it's something a lot of people enjoy. Mm-hmm. It's how most people get started, I would be willing to bet.
Mm-hmm.
And why not have a little recognition? It doesn't cost very much.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So
we all like to win something.
It is. And again, I'm kind of spitballing here and just thinking of different ideas. When with these dogs, is there going to be a record kept with these dogs, or is there going to be any kind of data beside the dogs that y'all are keeping, or is it just going to be pretty much strictly a point system? Hey, this dog has got this many points for the year, and that's what you got.
Yeah, I believe as of right now.
Right.
We all talked about it on the board there for 2 or 3 days, and we changed 2 or 3 things. And,
right.
Everybody that's on the board owns a pen or field trials. They're in the day-to-day operations of these things.
Gotcha.
And everything can change. You got to change if you see something's not going like you want. We'll change it.
Right.
So we're not just going to change it for one person. It's going to be the betterment of everybody.
Gotcha.
And anybody knows me is one. I'm anal about doing things the right way.
That's right.
So if that's my pet peeve, is just doing things the right way.
Yeah.
And if I got my name on it, it's going to be as honest as anything I could all I could do.
Yeah.
100% honest.
Even though you were voluntold to be on the president.
Yeah, well, I told them I'd be on the board.
Right.
And then they told me. I said, well, whatever.
Oh man. So I seen a couple people asking on Facebook too. I was trying to go through today before we started recording. I was trying to go through some of the questions and stuff I seen getting asked on there. If I sold my pup before the championship series or before the championship hunt, does the points follow that dog, or is it stay?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So the new owner can carry that dog.
Yeah, I know that the points stay with the dog.
Okay.
Period. The dog, because there's no kennel, points. This is all about the dog.
Right.
So you keep the points. And all you should have to do is transfer the membership, and if you don't have one,
right,
get one for the kennel.
Gotcha. It's a really neat setup. I'm curious to see how it does. I think it's going to do well. I think y'all, you said it's been years in the making kind of thing. So I think y'all got your ducks in a row. I think it's really neat.
I think we got 10. Probably more than that, 10 signed up because it starts March 1st.
Right.
So, and I'm excited. Just like I said, I'm not a puppy hunter. I go judge some.
Yeah.
But I'm tickled for them because, like I said, there's a lot of people that's their 3-day. That's what they love doing.
Hey, yep.
So
there's some guys that live
nothing wrong
off of it.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with giving them some love.
Right. And that'll be, and I think that's going to be a really neat way too. You go to some of these, like you said earlier, I've judged, I'm not a puppy hunter either. I don't like, it's not my thing. I ain't got nothing against it, but it's just not my thing. But it'll be really neat that the few times that I actually go, and if I see a dog, I can be like, hey, what's this dog? Or look at their rewards after it's over, and I can, if I want to know more about it and what he's off of, it's just as simple as that. Go see if he's in that registration and go look at him.
And that's the whole idea behind it all right there.
Right.
It's just for easy access to see what's out there.
Yep.
I mean, it ain't no top secret because people think it's a top secret.
Right.
But it's hard to reproduce a dog.
Yeah.
You can breed the same jip 100 times, the same male dog, but you probably ain't ever going to get the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it all.
I love it. And it'd be kind of cool to see where, like I said, once y'all get the ball rolling and get a good smooth, I can't wait to see what y'all expand it to. And as it grows and that kind of thing, I mean, I got ideas in my head now. It's like, man, you could run obviously they already have Sire of the Year and that kind of stuff, but you could do it before the puppy series, like who's the best producing puppy hunt dog, of the year down the road. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because there's, like I said, I know 4 or 5 people that, they're like, whiz not in the puppy hunts. That's what they do.
Right.
And there's dogs that you don't hear of them much, but if you're in the puppy hunting world, they're like Pinedale Clown or White
Right.
Cat.
Yeah. Right.
It don't correlate to the 3-day, but for what they're doing, it works for them.
Well, and I love it too. The 1-day option that the Masters is running has been great. It's a great thing that they have going, and it really does. Like I said, I'm more of a multi-day guy now. I started off in the 1-day guys. Started off in the 1-day world, and
Oh yeah.
it's not easy for a lot of people. It's not easy for me to run 3 days, so it's really neat to see this system y'all have going on. It's kind of not necessarily mirroring, but it's the same premise. As the Masters 1-day option. It really does kind of benefit and put a shine on the guys that can't go multi-day and live for these puppy hunts or live for these 1-days. And it's nice that those guys are getting some recognition now too.
Yeah, and it's like some people like to deer hunt in their backyard. Some like to drive 2 hours. Some like to go to Texas.
Right.
I mean, whatever your forte is, and
yeah.
Everybody needs a little love.
That's it. I mean, it ain't nothing but doing. It's when I kind of looked at it, it was a little. I'll admit, and I stay busy, so I was kind of looking at a lot of stuff on the fly, but it was a little confusing to start, and I don't know exactly why I was so confused on it. But now, after hearing it explained and kind of digging into it a little bit more, I really like this system. I really think it's a good idea.
Extremely simple, I think. I like the ideas, once you take care of your dog and the pen owner pays his, fee for the hunt, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The pen owner ain't got to change up the results, or take any extra money. It's easy on everybody.
Yeah. I love it. Because at first, I was like, man, this is just it's another way for a money to make it harder on everything. But really, it's not. Like you said, it's not about the money. It's all about the recognition and getting these dogs the recognition they deserve and making it so much easier on people when they want to look up a dog. So I love everything about it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you take for say I had 4 puppies.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that would cost me 15, 25, $45.
Right.
And that takes for every hunt I wanted to go to, $45.
Yep.
That's pretty daggum cheap.
Yeah, so you can't beat that. You can't beat that at all.
No, I hope it'll work out. It's like I said, it's not meant to step on anybody's toes. It's meant to promote and recognize them guys that love the puppy hunt.
Right. And I see it growing. I see it growing really fast. I think you'll all be all up and down the East Coast and all these pens. And, I mean, you got to think. I mean, there's probably way more pens that run puppy hunts than it is pens that run multi-day and big dog hunts. So this is liable to grow into something just insanely huge.
Yeah, and even all the big pens, they're going to run, some puppy hunts, getting everything right. So there's 3 or 4 chances of somebody to get some points.
Yep.
Because, a puppy, he's limited on his time anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, probably 5 or 6, 7 hunts is, if you can place in that, you probably had a pretty good year, I imagine.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so, and correct me if I'm wrong, the calendar year for this is from, what'd you say, is it
March? I believe it's March the 1st, and I think it ends at the end of the year.
Okay.
December 31st, I believe what it was.
Gotcha. And I would assume the championship hunt is going to be ran in January, or is it going to be y'all looking for end of the calendar year?
Let me look it up real quick, and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because I know Michael's a whole lot more on the ball than I am. I've been doing my taxes all day.
Oh Lord, I'm sorry.
My numbers are going every direction,
running together all at one time now.
Yeah, the disparity in my checking account right now. Looking for help.
I understand 100%. Yeah, and I thought that was, and after you find that date, it's a concept there that I'm And, I'm running a pen series right now myself, up here in Virginia. And I bounced back and forth on the idea of running it as a puppy series at first. But I was worried, and I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts on this, on for that championship hunt. On, how do I word this? Do you think the championship hunt's going to be a big thing for the sheer fact of the dogs that place earlier in the year are going to be so much older than the dogs that place at the end of the year? Do you think that's going to cause any kind of issue, or what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think most of them guys are too concerned about it.
Right.
I mean, from, just running with them, per se.
Right.
I don't think that's going to be no big issue, to be honest.
Gotcha.
But the leaderboard date is the 1st of March through the end of November. So that, I'm sure mid-December sometime would be the time frame for the championship hunt.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was the one, looking at everything, and that was the one question I kind of had, was if you thought it was going to be a big deal, that a dog that is a 12-month-old puppy in say March and places and gets his points. Well, I guess if he's that old, he's not going to have enough points to run in that championship hunt, is he?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a sweet spot in there, I'm sure.
Right. I didn't even think about that.
But if you can, if you're in the top 100, I mean, that's a lot of pups.
Right.
I'm sure if you place in 3 or 4, you got a good shot being in the top 100.
Yeah.
According to however many in there, might be 500 eligible. I'm not sure.
Right.
But,
right.
But I think there'd be a sweet spot in there. I think most of these guys, they'd be good to go.
Yeah, man. I didn't think about it. It just kind of rambling on there. I was kind of that kind of hit me that the January, the young early year dogs, unless they get like 3 puppy hunts in 3 weekends and win all 3 of them, it's going to be hard for them to place against some of these, say, May, June, July dogs that can, or even August, September dogs that can run from 7 months old till 12 months old and get them extra few months in. So
there's definitely a sweet spot. Like I said, I think the goal would be to get to the championship hunt.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure a lot of things will change from there.
Now, are y'all going to run, and I can't remember if this may have been touched on already, are y'all going to run any kind of kennel points, or is it just going to be strictly for the dogs?
It's just for the dogs.
Okay. Gotcha.
There'll be a breeder of the year.
Okay.
But we wanted it to be about the dog.
Right.
Not guy. He's got. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like it. Because you got, like you said, you got some guys that are puppy hunt mafia kind of people, and that's all they do. So it'd be kind of. I like that y'all are keeping it about the dog, and not necessarily. I mean, that's great that the kennels go after it, but I like it. I like it.
I mean, per se, this guy has 5 litters of pups.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna beat him for kennel of the year.
Right.
Right. But the breeder, it can be whoever. It's just like sire of the year. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's whatever dog produces the most in the puppy hunt.
Yeah, I like it.
So once again, recognizing that part,
I like it.
Part of the program.
Yeah, and no, I like it. I think it's a great thing that y'all got going on. I think it's anything that helps the sport grow and gives, not that it's a money sport, but I think, keeping the money flow in the sport and finding new ways to help people out in the process of making money for the sport is a fantastic thing. So I really love what y'all got going on. I can't wait to see it coming down the pipe, seeing how it all works out, and hats off to y'all, man.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Like I said, this is Michael and Chris's brainchild.
Right.
They've been working on it a couple years and have talked to me and asked me questions about, and they've asked a bunch of people, because that's no way you're gonna find anything out.
That's
so
right.
Ask the people that are involved.
Yep.
And I've done very little. They are this is their, roundup. It ain't mine. I'm just along for the ride.
That's right. I got you. So, so that's, I mean, that's a good roundup of the Instahounds and what it's all about, the pick of the litter and all that kind of stuff. And that was our more serious side of this conversation. So
Right.
let's move into the fun side here. I can't wait to talk to you about this. Guys, are y'all enjoying this podcast? I want to take a second real quick and talk about Spotify for podcasters. Do you want to make a podcast your own self? Spotify has got a platform that lets you make one super easily and distribute it everywhere and even earn money doing it. All in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. It's exactly what I started on. It's still what I use today. I can also, and you can too, distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. These are optional. And when you want to take the conversations with your fans to the next level, they have Q&As and polls to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can also earn money in a variety of other ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, no catch. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I have loved it. Loved it from the get-go. It's super easy, super simple, guys. If you're interested, check them out. Check out how to look it and get it going, guys. Ain't nothing to it. All right, guys, back to the show. Are you the one that created the no shows and pot stirring page?
Yep.
I thought so. I thought so. Man, you talk about, I could sit there and just twiddle through that page and just get so much enjoyment out of it. What was your idea behind starting that page?
Well, like I said, I'm anal about doing what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Just like I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to be there.
Right.
And if I can't be there, we all got cell phones. I'm going to call you or text you or whatever.
Right.
How many times you look on Facebook and, such and such back up for discussion.
Yep.
Didn't show.
Yep.
And there's nothing that eats me up more. And my theory was, everybody gets tired of seeing that.
Right.
And that's hurting the honest guy.
Yeah.
If you had a dog I really wanted to buy and you posted it on Tuesday mm-hmm. and you said first come, first serve. Well, I can't get there.
Right.
Probably the weekend.
Right.
I got the money. We're only as good as our word.
Right.
And I'm always going to give a man a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to think the worst of them right to start with.
Right.
And I've had maybe one no-show in which I don't sell many dogs. I give a lot of them away, but maybe one.
Right.
But you see it all the time. And it just irks me. It just gets in my craw. I cannot stand it.
Yeah.
And I just got tired of seeing it. So I said, well, here you go. And I started off because I had a no-show and I wasn't in a very good mood. I said, well, this is a great opportunity. And you might be throwing somebody under the bus, but guess what? It's the truth. And if that bothers you, then you need to change your habits.
That's right. I love it. I mean, and it's good. I think it's a double-edged sword because it kind of makes people, but like you said, if it bothers you that you get called out about it, just like judging. I can't stand when you go to, like I've been to several hunts and going to judge, and I get there, I'm like, how many judges you got coming? Talk to the guy that's putting on the hunt. Oh, I got 28 judges coming. And after we get ready to go cast the hounds, we look down at the judges sheet and there's 14 names on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on, guys.
That's my pet peeve in life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't deal. I got a lot of people I know, and I got a lot of friends, but I don't deal with a lot of people.
Right.
Just because, we're going to go run dogs at 8 o'clock and you show up or don't show up, I'm done with you.
Yep.
I mean, you still be my buddy.
Right.
But I ain't calling you to run dogs with them.
Yep. I am the same way. I'm especially pleasure running, man. Because it's not easy to get in some of these pens pleasure running. And
No, no.
man, you say cast at 8. Especially during the week, man. If you're running pleasure running during the week, and and you tell somebody 9 o'clock I'm casting, and they want to show up at 10 o'clock, well, no, you're not dumping your fresh hounds, because mine have been on the ground for an hour already, and you're not going to dump your fresh hounds. You can take them back home.
That's right. It just goes back to having respect for other man's time and what he's got going on.
Right. And
that's where the pay, that's where it comes from. Just me being PO'd. But I've been talking about it forever, and I said, well, it's a good opportunity.
Now.
And then we talk about it's more or less it's evolved. I guess I should say, a platform like old speed dogs used to be,
right.
On the computer.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to call people out for cheating. Cheating is not rampant by no means,
right.
But it happens.
Yeah.
And that goes in line with my stuff. I can't stand a cheater.
Yep.
And if I find you, I'm going to call you out. I don't care.
That's right.
And as long as you are 100% sure, I'm going to stand behind you.
Right.
And if at most 99% of the time, if I post it, I've did my research.
Yeah.
I already know what I'm doing.
Right.
And because I don't want to, say, James, that's cheating, and I ain't never met you.
Right.
Never talked to anybody. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that, even though I might hate you.
Right.
I ain't going to do that to you.
Right.
I mean, it's,
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then we get talking about it's just a platform to get on there, and there's some funny discussions, and some people get a little aggravated. And I don't mind what people do as long as they don't threaten nobody. Or,
right.
I'm not going to sit there and babysit them.
That's right.
We're all grown men, and we ought to be able to handle it.
Should be. What?
Yeah. And I hadn't had nobody, crying to me or, somebody hurt my feet. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I ain't going to listen to it. I'll just delete you and be done with you.
Right. And, one thing that I've found that I kind of thoroughly enjoy about it is it almost feels, and I hate to say this word, but it's the only word I can think that comes to my head right now. It almost feels like a safe space for a lot of people to put their opinion out there about certain things.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm very big, and I've said it several times. I've probably said it a dozen times on here by now. I think the rule book needs a revision. I mean, you've had this conversation before, just messaging back and forth. I think the rule book needs a revision, and I love seeing the conversations on there about how either somebody's confused, what they think about this rule. It's not just it's really has evolved into not only just a call out page, but it's evolved into like an open discussion kind of place. Like I think running a cover track's a stupid rule, and what do y'all think about this? And then next thing you know, it's got 150 comments on what that kind of thing.
Yeah, you get everybody's. We all have different opinions.
Right.
Just. Like you started judging some hunts, some bigger hunts.
Right.
And you could put 30 judges in a room and probably have 18 different opinions.
Yep.
There's a rule book,
right.
And everybody does their best to go by how they comprehend it.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so much that is so vague.
Right.
I think vagueness is great in some situations, but in others, in the rule book, there's not much of a definition or even a guideline.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And just for say one in post, you're gonna have people that have judged a lot of field trials that you might not agree with.
Right.
But that's how they interpret it, and if you can sit back and maybe try to look at it how they see it.
Right.
And vice versa, and then you got people in the middle that you see that don't need to judge a pie eating contest,
right.
Much less a field trial.
Right.
But to each his own.
Well, I mean, hell, the last conversation that I really got invested in was the one about the crossings. Where to judge the dog, and I've seen a lot of people saying that it was a rule in the book on where to judge it. And I looked through the book. I looked through 3 different books, and the Masters and Nationals, and an updated version of the Nationals, and I never did find it. I mean, I still could be wrong.
Yeah,
But
you ain't gonna find it.
yeah, it's not there.
Well, it's just like covered track.
Oh my God, I hate that rule. God, I hate that rule.
You know, to me, what covered track, and this, I seen this in a rule book.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up. In the wintertime, I'll stay up late looking stuff up. I get stuff on my brain.
Right.
I don't know how I was looking it up, but I was looking it up, and I found it in a old National Fox Hunters rule book.
Okay.
Had no clue what year it was.
Right.
It had to be probably a 50s or a 60s.
Right.
That said, a covered track was a dog that came back and covered his own track.
Ah.
Like, you know, a dog went across the road and just lost it.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure it out, and it kind of wandered back over where it come from, and then run the same track right back to you.
Right.
And I read it, and I seen it, and I've heard people talk about Gerald Simmons from Virginia.
Yeah.
That's how he had explained it to several people.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't go to it right now and show you. I couldn't find it.
Right.
You know, it's not in the rule book.
Right.
It's, you know, it's just
See, and that's what
open for interpretation.
well, exactly. I was just about to say it. That's what you talk about your interpretation, because to me, when you say it like that, like, you know, when it's written like that, I don't agree with it, because if my dog lost it and remembers, hey, I can go back here and pick it back up, and maybe I'm just talking in my butt here, but if my dog knows, hey, I can go back here and I know I had this track right here, I can pick it back up and try to fix it again, then I like seeing that in a dog. Maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's my opinion on how that works, and I would never scratch a dog for that.
No, and I think that most people, it'd be different if he went back over there and run it 3 minutes, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right, right.
But a dog
right.
coming back and hitting the track a handful of times, getting it straight, I wouldn't think
and
most people would scratch it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You explained it a lot better than the way I did it. But yeah, no, if it goes back and like 3, 4, 5 minutes later, it comes back and balls out on the track again, then yeah, maybe something's a little off there. But I like a dog that if he lost it, he comes back and where he lost it and fixes it.
Oh yeah, and that's, you know, how everything used to be, because everybody deer hunted down here anyway.
Right.
Say everybody, you know what I mean. And now, if you field trial, it's not like that. There's not many dogs that's going to spend much time trying to figure it out, and they can't, because if they do, they're going to be getting behind.
Right.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Yep. And I guess that's, you know, and not to go down that rabbit hole, but that's why I always preach that the rule book needs a revision, because, you know, I've only been in this sport since, gosh, I guess it was 2019, 2020, something like that. So I'm still a rookie in this sport. I'm not an expert by any means or nothing like that. You know, and the reason I started this podcast was to go through this journey and let people tag along in this journey and learn as I'm learning, and meet and listen and tell old stories with legends of the sport. But anyway, you know, but when I was getting into it, you know, trying to read the rule book, I'm like, okay, I see this running cover track or running dog track or babbling, you know. Well, babbling's a little bit, it's explained a little bit, but there's no definition of anything in there. It's all left for... No. I'm like, man, we really need to revise this thing so that the new people getting in, it makes more sense.
Oh yeah, because like you say, a lot of these young fellas getting in now, they weren't raised with dogs. They just kind of got in with their buddy, and enjoyed it, and they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And you know, like you say, clarification would be an awesome thing.
Yep. And I think the rule book is very well done. I have a lot of respect for all the founding fathers that wrote the rule books. You know, I mean, who would have ever thought that you could write a rule book that, you know, 50, 60, 70 years later, however long it is, that we can still go off of and hold successful hunts with little issues. But
yeah, I mean, it's virtually not been changed very few things
Right.
over the years. And like you say, you look back, you're like, it's kind of like looking at the Constitution. You're like, well, I really, who am I to change it?
Right. Right.
Who am
Right.
I? I ain't, I'm a hair on a dog's butt. I ain't nothing. I don't. It kind of probably how people. That's how I would feel like
Yeah.
even bringing it up.
Right.
But it definitely. I think clarification on several rules would be a very good thing.
Yep. And I think it's mainly because of where the difference is how it used to, like we talked about at the very beginning of this thing, how it used to be versus how it is now. Even thinking about having to write a rule to explain a crossing was probably never in these guys' mind, because all the dogs that they hunted with back then, there was no throwing it away. All those dogs were on the outside. Yeah. Yeah, you held on to the track on the outside. There won't no question about it.
It's a whole, especially on coyotes. Foxes, probably maybe not quite as much, but it's just a different, a whole different ball game.
Right.
It's, some good, some not good, but it's what we got and what we need to deal with.
Yep. And I think several people said it. I don't remember who the first one to said it on that post was about the crossings. And I think this goes as a whole on all the rules until there is a clear definition. Stay consistent. If you're out there and you're judging, stay consistent. If you judge like I judge, when I judge and a dog comes across the road, if he throws it out at the road, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve to cross, and he needs to be carrying it across. I'm going to stay consistent. That's how I'm going to judge every hunt. That's how I'm going to judge every crossing. And if I can get in the woods and catch them, then great. That's how I'm going to get them. But if it's on the road and they
I
throw,
don't, like you say, be consistent. I won't say I'm a total opposite, but most of the time, I'd say a good 80% of the time, it's never an issue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The pack goes on the cross and goes on about their business.
Yeah.
And but like I pick a spot just as soon as I can see them. I score them.
Right.
And what they do in the road, I don't care. And my reasoning behind it, number one, the road's artificial. They can run for say you were out there deer hunting, and you heard a pack of dogs running for 45 minutes, and they got to the road, and it just slowed it down.
Right.
They got it there, didn't it? And
yeah.
The road's an artificial environment. Just like today, I run dogs today.
Right.
And the scent conditions were terrible.
Right.
And I have a dog's 50 yards behind a piece of game, and they come out in the path and just climbed a tree.
Right.
My thing is they have produced the game to me.
Yeah.
Now, if they want the next crossing, they can keep right on doing what they need to do.
Right. Right. And I have respect for it.
That's the thing. I'm not going to go try to change anybody's idea.
That's it.
Because I know some of my good friends that score just like you do.
Right.
And they want to, and that's their thing. And as long as, like you say, you're consistent.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know it ain't like nobody's making a living at this.
Right.
So, people need to be thankful for there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And until, like we said, until the rule book is revised and said, yes, score it as it gets to the road or score it after it passes, then it's up to you to stay consistent and judge them how you see them.
That's right. That's right.
So, and I think your Facebook page, I think your Speed Dogs, no shows and pot stirring page, I love it. I think it's actually, like you said, sometimes people get a little heated and maybe some people carry it a little too far, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I think it's a big positive for the sport. I really do. I mean, I think it's a negative. It's a way to get the negative ones out.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a platform,
right? That
we can joke on somebody, or I don't allow advertising hunts. So I just want it to be one thing.
Yeah, that's right.
You probably when you read something, you're either going to probably laugh or be pissed off.
Right.
One of the other.
Right.
So you just take whichever team you want to be on and go with it.
That's it. Well, this is a good roll in. Let's go ahead and hit our final topic here. We kind of talked earlier today a little bit, and you told me to pick one, so I'm gonna pick one. and this is one I like hearing everybody's opinion on. It seems to be very consistent across the board. But where do you think field trialing as a sport is going? Do you think we're going in the right direction? Do you think what's your opinion as a whole of where we're going in the field trialing world?
I don't know. I've seen, the nationals, the masters.
Mm-hmm.
I want them all to succeed.
Right.
If I want to go to a hunt and it's a national HGA and I get beat out by a hunting score, well, I knew that before I went. That was a possibility.
Right. Right.
And that's where the problem people have. You know what the hunt is. No surprise.
Right.
It might suck, but you're no use getting too upset about it. You went to it. Nobody held a gun to your head.
Yep.
But I just, I think 99% of the people get along because, look, judges, the same judges is judging the national hunts is judging the masters hunt.
Yep.
The same people, for the most part, except for outside, is the same people who's running the nationals, same people who's running the masters.
That's right.
And most people just want to go have fun.
That's it.
And even most rules, most leaderboard things do not affect a large majority of us. I mean, that's just a fact of life.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
We get most people, like the one-day people, they go to a handful of one-days and maybe want to get a little recognition. Same day with the 3-day people. The older you get, you realize it's about the people.
Right.
Yeah, I used to be, like I said about judges. I see some old judges. Oh my God, them old judges. And and if I didn't place, I'd be, I'd be madder and I'll get out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I've met so many people judging. I mean, that's one thing I'm really appreciative of being able to judge so much is I've met so many good people.
Right.
And these people you see in the magazines all the time.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I mean, there ain't many places I can't go in the Southeast and know a good majority of the people.
Right.
And that's fun. It's nice getting to know 20 people versus one or nobody, which, I mean, I've done that plenty of times.
Right. Right.
But I think, I really don't know. I mean, I'm in the middle of it. It's about as much as you can get.
Well, let me ask you this, and it relates to that. Do you think that the sport is growing, or do you think we're in a kind of a stalemate right now? Like I said, I've only been in it for 4 years, and I think this is my 4th year. And to me, I think I can see a growth difference, but it's hard for me to look and tell in just that short amount of time. Is it growing, or do you think it's do you think we're in kind of just a stalemate? And what I mean by that is, you see different forms of hunting, dog hunting, like coon hunting and squirrel hunting with vice and stuff like that. And they're getting these big hunts. Like these guys are hunting for, $100,000 hunts and stuff like that. And I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know if that's completely accurate, but they're hunting these big time money hunts. Do you see the sport getting to that level, or do you think we're kind of stuck? We're kind of stalemated, and everybody's going to just enjoy it for what it is right now?
Yeah, I think everybody just needs to enjoy it the way it is. I mean, money, I can't say money ruined anything. It probably doesn't help a lot of things.
Right.
But we must have it. We must have it to carry on. I go to a hunt, which I don't go to a lot, so it ain't like I'm a professional. But when I go to one, I want to win the hunt. Now,
right.
If I get $10,000 or 6 bags of dog food, I mean, I don't really care, to be honest with you.
Right.
I mean, I'm never gonna get my money back.
Yeah.
But I want to win the hunt. I want to. I made one field champion in my life, and some have made 20, and some have made none. It's
right.
just something you strive for.
Yep.
But I don't see us going backwards. I think we're treading water. To be honest,
Yep.
I mean, we're not going nowhere. Not moving one direction more than the other.
Right.
I'm glad the Nationals have, come up with that new GTP. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And both set of rules, neither one of them are perfect. You nothing's perfect.
Right. Right.
I think we just,
Yep.
you know,
There's
go
going
to
to be
what you want
flaws
to
in
go
everything.
to. Yeah, go to the ones you want to go to, and be happy for your buddy when he goes to a different one.
I love it. I love it. Well, Kenny, man, I do appreciate you coming on. I think you did a hell of a job, explaining the Instahound thing and kind of getting a lot of clarity. Some people like myself, I got to hear it to make it make sense sometimes, and I think you did a heck of a job, man. And I enjoyed you coming on here, and I'm glad to see your health is getting back to where you want it to be. I know you had a rough year last year, but I'm really glad to see it's going in the right direction.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. And that's one thing about a perspective on life. When you were, the doctor told me I was one good cough away from a heart attack.
Mm.
You change. Things change. That comes with time. I ain't but 48, so I ain't like I'm getting ready to kick the bucket tomorrow.
Right.
But, things change, and people need to. A lot of people laugh hear me say this, but just enjoy yourself.
That's it.
Just enjoy the people around you. You place a dog, be happy, go home, and you can brag a little bit, but it's all about the people.
That's right. That's right. Well, are you going to be trying to go down to I think it was not last year before last, you mastered the Eastern Derby, correct? Down there at Grassy Branch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a Grassy Branch.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Are you going to try to make it down to that one again this year? Or I think that's in the books for us. I think we're going to try to go down to that one.
I haven't heard nothing from them.
Gotcha.
So I hadn't planned on it.
I got you.
I ain't got nothing on. I got 3 or 4 hunts to go to. I'm going to the All-American Saturday, leaving Saturday.
Right.
To judge.
Yeah.
And other than that, I ain't got really nothing on my board. Like I said, I've been trying to keep it light. I'm back to running and judging a little bit.
Gotcha. I love it. Well, good for you, man, and I appreciate you and everything that you do and putting into this sport. And you're definitely a big advocate and a big positive light for the sport. So thank you for all you do, man, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you inviting me, buddy.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. That's a wrap for this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And like always, guys, happy hunting.